It's still very soulful.
Yeah, the box it's set to be released in June. Are there songs on that record that you first tried, maybe in a club setting before actually putting them on the record?
No. Everything that's on the record is stuff that I recorded the record first before, I haven't really played any of the music out yet at all, no.
Okay, but when you were writing all those songs, did you have a club setting or a certain vibe in your mind while writing all those tracks?
I guess the biggest kind of goal was to make something that married synthetic, electronic music with something slightly more organic as well. I'm a musician. I play the guitar. That's the first way that I relate to music, is for what I can express through my fingers. So the sound of live instrumentation was also very important to me. I didn't want to make a purely club record. I wanted you to be able to hear that there was percussion and xylophones and glockenspiels and acoustic guitars and guitars as well on the record. It's just as acoustic as it is, the instrumentation is just as acoustic as it is electronic, I think.
How exactly do you mean it? Is the whole, because of the whole way you write it, maybe with still guitar and all those maybe more traditional instruments in your mind?
Yeah, well, it's weird. Well, it was important to me, I don't know, I guess everything did start initially with just a drum beat and a drum loop and synths in it, I guess, but I made sure that it wasn't just that the traditional kind of more organic sounds were still apparent on every track. Also, it wasn't just a club record, or it was important for it to be a meeting of two different worlds for me.
Okay. And do you think for yourself that you succeeded in the two worlds colliding or meeting?
Yeah, I do think it's because it's not just like a disco record. It's not just like an electronic record. It's still very soulful, I feel. Yeah, I think I've succeeded.
Okay. And for how long had you actually had this plan in your mind? Is that since maybe a couple of years, or maybe just recently?
Well, the plan to make a record, or the plan,
the plan to make this actual record.
Well, I guess the idea to make a solo record came last year when we decided we were going to take a year off from Bloc Party. I knew that even though we said we were going to take a year off, I knew that I was still going to have to make music in that year, and it just seemed sensible. I'm making a record by myself. And I started writing the music in between touring in 2009, and it kind of started to take its own kind of shape. There wasn't really much of a game plan. There wasn't really much of a game plan. I've always been, other than really, I didn't want it to sound just like Bloc Party, so I initially just started recording just simple kind of drum loops, and so programming simple drum loops, and then playing kind of synth lines over the top of it, just to get an idea, just to get the ideas rolling. And that was something we'd never done in Bloc Party, so it was a different way of working for sure.
Okay. And recording those, the drum loops. How many loops did you actually record? Was that maybe just on a room or somewhere else that you started recording those loops?
It was just like I programmed some drum loops into the computer, so I don't know, like about 5 or 6, I don't know, and then some of them went on to become songs.
Okay. And then, how does a record like this actually get shaped? You say you started programming drum loops, then play some synth sounds over it, then maybe started singing. But was the direction from the start already clear, that you had your arrows of your vision maybe that way, or?
It was no, I don't know. It wasn't set in stone, but I knew what interests. I knew musically roughly where I was headed. I didn't want to make another guitar rock record. I've been getting excited by electronic music, you know, dance music and R&B music, and you know, I've been excited by electronic music, you know, for the last 10 years, and I think maybe I've been moving towards that kind of way of thinking for a while. So.